This is the second year we've done this Sweet Heat contest. If you're not familiar, please become familiar and maybe enter next year if you didn't enter this year. What it is, we just ask you to send in some photos of an installation you've done, before and after shots, or if it's a new build, just send us in what you did. Tell us why it was challenging, what made it so good, and we've got judges that look at these things, and then we have a final judge who gives us the final cut, and we come up with winners, one in a commercial category and one in a residential category. This year, our second annual contest, we started asking for entries in the spring. Oh, also this year, the contest was sponsored. EMCO, wholesaler, nationwide, is offering up two $3,000 EMCO vouchers for their location. So it's a big deal. To me, it's a big deal. We had 30 entries this year. BC, Alberta, Ontario, and Nova Scotia is where they came from, primarily Ontario. That's to be understood. Again, as I mentioned, two categories, commercial, residential. So we've got two winners. And our finalist judge this year is on stage with me, John Siegenthaler. So now, as we did last year, we select a winner and a runner-up. So the runner-up in the commercial category this year, Triple Tech Heating and Air Conditioning and Refrigeration from Midland, Ontario.
Yeah, it's a good example of multiple boiler systems. If you're reading that there, you'll see that each of those boilers has a 10-to-1 turn-down ratio. So when you bring four of them together, the collective turn-down ratio would be 40-to-1. So that's really good in terms of load matching, getting you away from short cycling. And if I remember right, this was a replacement project.
Yeah.
Where they had larger boilers in there, perhaps, and might have been having some short cycling problems. Many of these projects, in fact, just about all the projects that were submitted were beautiful workmanship. So, I can't fault anybody in terms of sloppy workmanship, but again, I just think it was a good application for multiple boilers, and based on comparisons with others, we selected it as a runner-up.
Okay, and the winner in the commercial category is South Island Mechanical out in Victoria, BC. Congratulations, South Island. I don't believe anyone is here today from the South Island Mechanical, but this was a district energy plant that they replaced a boiler again with a cascading system to better match the requirements of...
It was. I believe the original boiler in this district system was a very large boiler, and again, may not have been able to throttle down to what low load requirements were. So this has 8 5-to-1 turn-down ratio boilers. Again, you multiply the number of boilers by the turn-down ratio, you've got a 40-to-1 turn-down ratio. So, and I also like the idea of district systems. I think we're going to see more and more district systems. They are quite common in Europe. And again, district systems with heat pumps are definitely a possibility, both geothermal and otherwise. So, a beautiful workmanship again.
All right, thank you, John. Now we will move to the residential category, and we have a runner-up, and that runner-up was Impetus Plumbing and Heating of Richmond, BC, and I happen to know we have the owner of this company working on the panel build outside. So congratulations, Terrence, if you're out there. John, I don't know if you have any recollections.
A little bit. Yeah, again, a panelized system, so they put this together in a shop and took it out so that the quality control function in the shop is a little easier to maintain, as well as the efficiency of the assembly. It's a good-looking project from a piping standpoint. This was, the other thing that kind of caught my attention on this, if you read the full description of this, it was a very botched up original system. And I did see a picture, it's not actually up on the screen here, of the original, and it was a total mess. And they recognized that had to change. It wasn't just a matter of, nip and tuck here and there. they basically had to reroute the plumbing quite a ways, but they took the responsibility to do that. It wasn't, let's just patch this up and move on. They really wanted to do this right, and again, the panelized system that they used was a good solution for it. So given the starting situation, I thought it was a good solution.
Thank you, John. And here we go. The winner for the residential category of Sweet Heat 2022, Family Tradition Propane Services out of Oak Hill, Nova Scotia. John, please explain.
Okay. Some of you are probably looking at that and saying, where's the boilerplate? Where's all the LED lighting? Where's the 10 boilers and 30 circulators, right? It's actually one of the simpler systems that was submitted. Again, the piping is neatly done. One of the things, and again, it's not on this slide that you're looking at, but one of the things that was submitted, there was good documentation for this system. If you look at it there, you can see, you probably can't read the details, but I'm a big believer in creating documentation so that systems have a long service life. The original installer may not be around to service that system, and of the submissions that came in, this is really the only one that showed they really put together good documentation, not only so the homeowner could understand what was going on here, but also for future service. They put together a manual, and you can see they've actually labeled the different components there so that a homeowner could understand. If you happen to see something leaking, oh, it's number 4, it's an air vent, or whatever it is. So I was impressed by that, and again, I stress that we've talked about that in the past. We've written about it in HPAC, documenting your systems. The more customized your systems are, the more important it is to create those schematics, both the piping schematic, control schematic, description of operation. So somebody can, not only the installer can put it in, but as we go into the future, any competent technician should be able to get that documentation and understand what the system is supposed to do when it's working correctly. And of course, that's a first step in trying to solve a problem, identify the problem and correct it. So documentation was a big factor in the decision here.
And that's it. John, thank you very much. That is Sweet Heat 2022, Family Tradition Propane Services out of Oak Hill, Nova Scotia. We'll be contacting them early tomorrow to let them know, along with South Island from Victoria. Thank you to anyone in the room who entered the contest, and we'd certainly encourage everyone to enter next year, because I'm sure we'll be having Sweet Heat 2023.